Yeah, and you say support duo. I say get
Oh,
out of here, Kmart.
okay,
That's
okay,
Dark
okay.
Mago Earthshaker. That's the hero that was not picked at all for him at TI, but one of his classics. And hey, he sees an NP, he sees a mid Tusk. Sure, this is where Thunder Awaken are the ones that probably need to move things around. But I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And of course, if it is the mid Earthshaker, then it's probably a Sacred Pango. And then it's probably some combination of Stinger and Gojira passing around the Phoenix and the Doom because we
Right.
both know they're extremely flexible. Probably want the Phoenix as your 4 and then maybe the Doom as your 5 just so you get that ranged melee combo in the lane that we always talk about being important. But Dark Mega Shaker, I think that's on table here and I absolutely love it. I want it so badly.
That would be a hell of a way to introduce yourself with your new lineup. Just pull that out again, and it's been a bit since Dark Mago's been able to pull that off. Mostly because circumstances in the past haven't really allowed for it. The Core Shaker kind of comes and goes in phases, but see if that is the call for them. We'll see how Thunder Awaken deal with it. Yeah, not a bad choice. The Lifestealer coming out for them, so a little bit less worried about all of that lockdown, but the Lifestealer is more often than not safe ET, but it's never flashy, it's never all that exciting.
Yeah, just standard, just easy. Isn't a ranged hero to close the gap onto that Phoenix egg, but again,
Mm-hmm.
just having the value of the rage just for the first 2 levels of egg. Phoenix really needs to be level 18 before you even make it close, but then the Lifestealer just gets on top of you, kills the egg, you cry yourself to sleep. It can be a pretty sad situation, as well as I think really wanting to make that Doom into a support now. Yeah, before maybe you could fudge the numbers a little bit. Pango's also a very flexible hero, but I think this should more or less put Sacred as your Pango and then the Doom as far away from the Lifestealer as possible. As we've seen, Lifestealer become one of the better answers for that Doom, at least in lane, because it's just annoying. You just eat into him, you get a few too many levels, and Doom will always farm, but Lifestealer just is a little bit too much free of a matchup, and I think that's where Beast Coast should probably look to circumvent that.
Now you look to the bans here for Thunder Awaken. Still on the Dark Mago ban train. They take the Storm Spirit away, so even in a lineup, so far at least, that has the Pango and the Earthshaker, Thunder Awaken aren't convinced that the mid laner has popped up just yet, which, to a certain extent, I can admire their persistence, but persistence maybe gets into a little bit of maybe stubbornness at this stage, because that's every single band used on a hero that would play in the middle lane.
Yeah, as well as I think Beast Coast just saying that with the Timbersaw ban at least, which also feels a little bit weird, it covers that shaker in the mid position that we're thinking about. But the Storm Spirit does seem like kind of a shot in the dark because then you would need Arceus to take up the Earth Shaker. You would probably move the Doom to your off lane still, and then again the Pango and Phoenix. The supports can always move around. The first 3 heroes of the game are the flexible ones for Beast Coast. But at the end of the day, it does feel like Beast Coast need that ultra carry, someone who kind of does it all, as we usually talk about, where the other 4 heroes of the lineup are team fight, and now you need a guy that's going to get buildings and Roche, and that's probably where I would say that Beast Coast are going to take it. But Thunder Awaken keep it with the niche bands, and certainly
Mm-hmm.
Beastmaster is a hero that is capable of all of those things, just from the opposite position. But it makes me wonder that they think it's going to be an unironically an Arceus Earthshaker because no carry bans. It continues to be only Beast Coast looking for those heroes.
Yep. Either the Earthshaker at the one, or I guess the only other person you could look at is the Doom if they're not taking a carry right now. But that still just kind of seems strange, because if you're Beast Coast, why not just take a carry right now? Because very few of them have been banned out, and yeah, there it is. The Troll Warlord comes through for them, and I don't know, whatever Thunder Awaken sort of thought that they were onto with some of those bans, it's not quite there, but I don't think it's going to hurt them all that significantly. The Troll is still a hero that they can potentially uh, work their way around.
No, definitely. And of course, Troll versus Lifestealer, as we usually talk about, it's a very close matchup. Of course, the thing that breaks it is the Basher. Once Troll has Basher, then Lifestealer cannot escape. And
Okay.
Thunder Awaken decided to flip the script at the very end there, so now it's going to be a 4 Tusk. It's most likely going to be that mid Lena. And then Beast Coast also decide to switch it up because Gojira ends up taking the Shaker. I start to cry, and Dark Mango takes the Doom, which is, at the end of the day, an easier lane to draw against the Lina, but is a much less exciting hero for Dark Mango. But it's okay. I regress.
It's, yeah, it's maybe not what we were hoping for, but it does make quite a bit of sense for them. So we'll have to see how this one plays out, because I don't know. The mid Doom is always just an interesting choice, right? I think it'll depend a lot on maybe what we see Dark Mako try to go for in terms of his actual itemization, but in terms of the matchup against the Lina, Dark Mako's going to have to be willing to take some damage, right? Because alone on that Lina is going to hit him constantly.
Yeah, and hey, at least Doom's got, 8 armor to mess around with. Knowing Dark Mago as well, see the 2 rings of protection, and then it's like, oh, okay, Doom has 11 armor. Maybe we're not hitting the Doom today, but, it's a very easy lane, and I think a lane that both Alone and Dark Mago are not too perturbed going into, and at least Alone gets to be that ranged carry going versus the Troll. So Arceus has 2 targets that he's going to have to be real scared of, and hey, they got their egg hitter. Lina is certainly going to be real good at killing that Phoenix, but we'll have to see. I think both teams got really interesting drafts. Beast Coast might edge you out in terms of that team fight, but the level of execution for Beast Coast is also enormous. It is going to be very difficult to get all these spells landing at the right time, covering each other. Is where Thunder Awaken's lineup pretty much plays itself. It is not hard. It is very much run at you, 2-3 spells need to get off, and that's all the finesse you need. It's where Beast Coast is going to need to play that flashier style of Dota. Otherwise, it will blow up in their face.
Early smoke out from Gojira drops the ward across the river. I think there's any indication there that Thunder Awaken knew what was going on. So for now, at least that ward will survive. We'll see if anybody actually looks to push for an extra bounty rune, though, because, well, it could happen. I mean, especially with Gojira, right? He's got the point up in the fissure already, so that is really the perfect hero to catch somebody maybe up or down on the wrong side of a ramp. But what did he just... Oh, Dark Mako just used Devour on a Treant. Okay, fair enough. With the digestion time, honestly, he might just get some free gold before the creep waves even spawn, so bit of a nifty play there to get some extra gold. And we'll see if there is any fight for the rune. Michael's kind of eyeballing it, but he's standing on top of a ward, so if he tries it, it likely will not end well. Oh, there's the slow. Does Gojira go for the stun? No, he does not. That's just going to be really a 2-2 split. So some damage exchange DT, but nothing too serious.
Everybody decides to disengage, as they probably should. And it does end up being a very passive start, but Gojira, sit mid. Okay. Scouted out the ward, and look at that. Clean AF. That was just in and out. Gets to buy another sentry, buy some tangos with that extra 100 gold, and he's happy.
Some good instincts there, and honestly, you look at the way the sentry was placed, it's right on the edge, but he had the confidence. He knew it's got to be somewhere in here, so they will take it down. Now he ends up making his way down bot, where you got a bit of an interesting setup here, right? Earthshaker and Pango, depending on, I guess, where and when the fissure comes out, some stuff can be done here, but Gojira's going to have to be really on point in terms of the timing and the placement for them to really have any opportunities here, as he's losing aggro. Okay.
Ooh, hey, does he get the aggro? He's going to steal the range creep, and Gojira is in a tough spot. Just both supports doing a really fine job of reading each other for a while there, but Excel just in letting that large camp spawn and getting ahead of it, it does put the pressure on the Shaker to really just have these 2 creeps that now he has to tail around while Knight just statics the wave behind the tower exactly where he wants. A, though, okay. He's trying to connect the waves, but in doing so, getting body blocked and eating a whole bunch of damage without the level 2 on Sacred, though, should just be able to walk out.
Sacred. He could have swashbuckled, but I don't think that would have been enough damage. And the weird shenanigans here with creeps and equilibrium will continue. At the same time, though, taking a look over towards that middle lane, Dark Mago, he's able to get his bottle, but this is kind of what I was talking about. Alone is really just going to hammer away at you constantly. So you're looking at a situation where the Doom almost becomes as sort of rune reliant maybe as some of the spirits, just because he'll need that regen to survive all the right clicks unless he picks up more armor.
No, it's certainly one of the most annoying situations to be in, as well as this lane doesn't get any easier the more levels Alone gets. It just means that you're going to be tanking more and more creeps as it goes by, and it's also why Alone's already getting out to that early lead, 13 and 7, and Dark Mago almost wants a bottle refill, because a lot of these bottle charges he's been going for are getting interrupted, and Alone's certainly taking a lot of damage, but damage that now he gets the farm safely on his side of the river.
Hmm. Very aggressive play that does come at a cost, but the reward definitely will favor him. And Dark Mago, he's kind of made a little bit of a rotation here. I think maybe trying to grab some sort of creep just to give him something to equalize this lane a little bit. Refills his bottle on the bounty rune, so overall, this is not the ideal way that you wanted it to play out, but at least he'll have some means of getting himself back into the swing of things. He's got the Purge now, so... well... maybe if he can bait Alone forward, right? You could Purge him up and then start hacking away for some damage, but that's a pretty big if.
Yeah, no, part of me wonders if he meant to grab the mana creep just because, well, you can't purge off Fiery Soul. Alone is just going to continue to hit you, and you certainly have more mana than you do have life in this lane. Just an interesting choice for him. But again, have to see. Maybe he's got a plan later down the line, and certainly makes his lane a little bit more gankable because the Purge is a fantastic slow, but we'll have to see what supports look like come a few minutes, because right now, no rotation for the 4-minute rune, always going to come at 6.
Staying in their lanes for the time being, looking to set up their respective cores as best as they can. As, back in mid, Dark Mago is looking to push forward, and yeah, there's the play. He may pay for this. Michael's coming in. Michael doesn't have a crazy amount of damage, but Illich will make his way over with the TP, and that'll get the job done. So it turns into a trade on the mid laners, but Dark Mago's going to get the better of that one, having gotten the first kill.
Yeah, just caught off guard by the point up in the Infernal Blade, just not going for the absolute farming build, and yeah, what probably shouldn't have been a kill ends up evening out that mid lane completely, even though Alone is still by and large ahead in terms of those denies, and even XP-wise is still ahead of the Doom. Doesn't matter, and well, gonna eat a lot of damage now.
Stun, they got the Infernal Blade. TP is coming in, though. The Jakiro's coming to help out, but look at Stinger. Just kind of swinging his way through. Those are tower shots, Stinger. Those are tower shots. Okay. Kind of forgot about the fact that he still takes damage, so Stinger will die, and now Dark Mago hits up by the shards. Not able to get a clean getaway here. Can they actually finish him off in time, though? He is falling back to the tower. Goes for the Purge on Michael, but it's going to be enough to allow him to walk away. Gojira sends in a Fissure just to be sure, and... Dark Mago healing up, doesn't want to go for the kill onto Excel. Does have to back it away, but yeah, he's looking at the Lina.
No way.
LSA buys some time. Michael now has to come over with the tag team. But he's still burning here on the Lina. Now he'll turn, though. The shards create a barrier, and they are going to look to force this one. They get Gojira, they get Dark Mago. Stinger finally finds a pick there. As Alone will die, but... I was going to say Stinger has to sacrifice himself, but he uses his Sunray to get over the cliff, and... can he deny to neutrals? Because he has no TP for 50. There we go. What a weird series of events there, ET. We suddenly have 6 heroes mid. First fight looks kind of awkward. Second fight, honestly, maybe even more awkward. But the mid laners do end up going down on both sides.
Yeah, it's a hell of a way to start off the series. Just everybody diving in. And I think knowing that they can't afford Alone to go down again in that situation without getting anything in return, as well as saying that, well, bottom lane's going to be fine. If we remove the support from Sacred, and you even see it right now, poor Sacred is getting eaten by this Lifestealer, and I don't know how much time. Nice block with the branch, and Sacred is barely able to walk out. Doesn't change the fact that he is not getting as much out of the lane as Knight, though.
Right. It's a nifty play, does some good dancing, drops the trees, and he lives, but the lane at this point is very definitively going to go in his opponent's favor, especially if those supports don't come back. Speaking of supports, though, they're setting up on mid. There's going to be the snowball in onto Dark Mago. LSA and Shards both placed down. Excel comes in, and Illich, Well, Illich is also here, I suppose. And, oh, hold on. That's not good. Sacred was TPing into the trees. Those trees get turned into treants, so Sacred does not have the element of surprise anymore. They're not going to be able to punish him immediately, ET, but this is a very sort of scuffed series of events as Michael snowballs in, but with Stinger here with the Sunray, they are going to back off. Gojira, though, doesn't want to let him go. Hits him up with the Fissure, but now Alone gets involved in the party. Hits 6. Laguna to the face for Sacred. And we've all just decided that lanes are overrated and everybody wants to be mid, because we have 7 heroes in the middle lane at the 7.5 minute mark. Is this going to turn into a fight, though? Not really.
No, and Thunderwing can take their Pango kill and just walk away, and Sacred's game continues to be not the best. But hey, while Sacred has not had the greatest start, and Knight certainly has, Arceus has also been relatively untouched, and with how much the NP has gotten involved in the game at large, well, it becomes more and more dangerous for him to return to that Troll Warlord's lane. I do think we're going to see more from the NP, though. Nature's Wrath sending. It's going to go through in just a sec, but Dark Mago on the low ground. Yeah, not much you can do there.
Does not take a hit, so the Wrath of Nature doesn't hit him, but they don't need it. They still find the kill. Alone's the one to get it, too, so he's sitting at a 3-2-2 stat line. Now they're getting some damage onto the tower. Wrath of Nature flies through again. Not really looking to set up, just trying to keep some heroes at arm's length while they take the tier 1 tower, ET. And Stinger, yeah, he was a little bit too far away to try for the deny.
Yep, and they got what they wanted. All of that pressure, all of that running back and forth is just to secure this tier 1 mid tower as really soon as possible to relieve a lot of pressure off of that Lina. And now, of course, anytime that mid wave is in, it becomes very obvious that Beast Coast are going to be looking for a move, but at the same time, now Thunderwing can need to look for their next objective. Just feels like we might see a little bit of a pause here from the rest of their lineup while Alone farms a massive stack with the Lina. He's happy at least.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite a bit of potential gold going his way. The question would be, do we see him just go for the bots build? Does he look for the BKB a little bit earlier? The rate he's been able to both fight and farm, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the bots, because I don't think anyone's going to come to stop him. They are too busy looking at Excel over in the middle lane. Stinger and Gojira able to get a little bit of a 2v1 game there onto their counterpart support, and taking him down is nice for those two. It's not going to affect much in the way of momentum, but at least they get something on the board.
Something to play around, and of course, giving any kills to Shaker means that that Blink Dagger is going to come out a little bit faster. And right now, it is going to be Beast Coast's time to make that next play. Gojira is crazy for farming where he's farming, and he will get punished by the remnants of Thunder Awaken. But what a position to be in.
Yeah.
Not much to say about that one.
Little out of position there. Bud is alone. Okay. Pops the haste, gets a freebie. LSA misses onto Dark Mago, though, so looks like the Doom should be safe. Yeah, Ice Path just in case, but no luck. But, I mean, that's your Lina picking up a kill with basically 0 effort, and we're going to take that. At the same time, though, what's going on here up top? Illich is getting sort of run out a little bit. The Fissure forces him to take the long path around. They'll commit the Echo. Yeah. Not sure if they needed that 100%. The root had come through from the troll, but better safe than sorry. They find the pick. Nice bit of gold into their hands.
Yeah, and the Shaker gets it, which are you just talking about? Very important, but it keeps that kill from getting too close to the tier 1 tower. I think that could have gone maybe dangerous for the Troll Lord if it stretched out just a second too far, but no, ends up being very clean. And really, now for Beast Coast, the only question in my mind is when are we going to see our first Rolling Thunder? I think it will only come out in response to that top tier 1 push that Thunder Awaken have also not gotten started just yet, but in very similar fashion to game 1 of our previous series, it looks like both teams are just banking on this landing stage, extending and going as long as possible. Nobody's blinking right now.
Interesting scenario. We'll see which team it benefits as Sacred. Just looking for some early pickups here. Just kind of a, I guess, almost casual Ring of Health. He'll obviously turn it into something later, but for now, looking in that direction. Wants the Orb of Corrosion. He's got a Blink Dagger queued up after that, which, I mean, that's a long ways away, but he has, he's got plans. He's got ambitions. You can't take that away from him, but over in the middle lane, Alone did opt for the Boots of Travel, so he is going to be mobile, farming really all across the map, potentially even moving in for fights, because well, that's the thing to remember for this Thunder Awaken lineup. They've slowed things down a little bit after that initial push forward, but they've got a Tusk as their support. They've got a Nature's Prophet. They can turn a 1v1 into a 3v1 in the blink of an eye. So, we're going to look to take advantage of the numbers that they can bring as Alone. Going to lead the charge onto the tier 1 top, and nobody's really going to come to defend it. The glyph will be expended here, which feels a little bit strange. They're not going to get this back when the tower goes down, so it's a little bit of a stall tactic, but I guess Beast Coast are assuming Thunder Awaken won't be getting onto any tier 2s in the next 5 minutes, so the cooldown will just come back up for them.
Yeah, and then support Smoke, the Lena TP's mid, and kind of a dangerous position, but no team fight will start, and Sacred is still working on that trade of that bottom tier 1, a push that is not fast. It is just going to slowly but surely get done in mainly by the creeps, and Sacred's farming, he's pulling the creeps into the small camp and the large camp to try and get as much gold out of bottom as possible, but it still feels like Thunder Awaken have what they want. They don't have the gold lead right now, but of course, that is really only just because Dark Mago's Doom. They're roaching? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, with max level tag team and with NP and with your opponent saying that we're not going to fight you, why not? Great timing from Thunder Awaken.
Yeah, and I think that is the #1 aspect of this. The fact that they know Beast Coast have been ducking them for a little while here is the only reason you do this safely, because if Beast Coast had known that this was going down, Gojira had just picked up his Blink Dagger, so it could have been very, very risky. But with Beast Coast playing so far back, they had their opening. I don't know how much they're going to get out of this first Aegis in Alone's hands, ET, because, again, Beast Coast has been kind of dodging their opponents for a bit, so not much of an immediate impact, perhaps, but if there is a fight, Alone's at least going to have 2 lives for it.
Yeah, and you also finished off that Shaker Blink. Dark Mago bought the Ogre Axe, so he's just going to go for a BKB instead. But one nice aspect for Beast Coast right now is that your Troll is ridiculously farmed. Aegis, who's just focused on his Battle Fury build, is continuing to not really have that much pressure on him. Nobody's taking farm in front of him either. Just a very nice controlled pace that he's going for. He's going to have a BKB before long. He has already got 1 component. He's maybe another 1,600 gold away. And then there's a BKB troll like 18 minutes into this game, which is insane.
You're going to have trouble dealing with him in just about every situation. I mean, Illich would be maybe the first guy you look to just to try and sprout him up with the BKB, but that's what the Battle Fury, well, not what the Battle Fury is for, obviously, but that's one of the benefits of the Battle Fury. You're just going to be able to sort of cut that tree down and keep yourself pushing forward. So, yeah, if that BKB comes out, the ways that they have to deal with him are kind of limited. They're hoping to maybe make a move before the BKB can be picked up. Excel, though, is, well, he's fighting for the D ward, and he does manage to get it, but it's going to cost him his life, or maybe not. Look at that Ice Path onto 3. And now Dark Mago, yeah, you don't want to be here, really. I mean, he's thrown the Doom down. But how effective is it going to be? They're just getting really jerked around in this fight. Stinger will fall. Dark Mago should be able to make it out here with the extra move speed from the Scorched Earth, but that was a play that should have been relatively easy. You've got a Jakiro so far forward, but Ice Path and Macro Pyre onto 3 just kind of creates an opening where there shouldn't have been one.
Yeah, and Jakiro, just as a hero, slightly too tanky. You're just unable to make that play happen. Now Dark Mago, battle for the rune, and he'll win, but at what cost?
Wow.
Oh, he's got a DD bottled up for next time. Oh, okay. Village? Well, does get rooted up on the first hit by Arceus, so they will claw something back here on the Beast Coast side. Now they need to be careful. Cell and Michael are looking to set up onto Stinger. Stinger's going to pop the ult, and there's Gojira blinking in, dropping down the ult. They need to take out Smiling Knight. Can they actually get him? Yes, they can. Knight goes down. Michael falls as well. Sacred grabs both kills. And Excel is able to walk away, but he's the only survivor there. So, sure, that costs you 2 of your ults, but some nice gold going back your way after maybe a slight mistake before that.
yeah, just pushed themselves on a little bit too thin. Gojira, who had been holding that Echo Slam for so long, actually finds the connection and a play where they know that the Lina had already rotated out. And of course, you lost Dark Mago at the same time during all of that, but putting the Lifestealer on deck, I feel like they're happy with that turn of events. And again, Argus is the winner. The troll has his BKB. He is ready for that next team fight. And all your spells are cooling down right now. So Beast Coast want to dodge for the current moment, and then as soon as they do have those cooldowns, well, they're going to be right back up to full power.
Illich did just show off the Orchid there onto the Pangolier. Unfortunately, didn't do any damage to actually cancel the blink. So Sacred walks away, and well, know the build here from Illich, not going for that sort of Gleipnir rush we saw from Saberlight, although in fairness, Saberlight had 2 games, so we did technically see both builds between games 1 and 2. So no matter which direction he goes in, he's going to be emulating that build a little bit. But over in the river, that is a very unfortunate initiation. They tried for the Infest play, and I mean, technically they got the bomb, but now they need to actually find the kills. Michael and Knight both dead, but Alone's going to be able to salvage a little bit there from the high ground. The problem is he has lost all of his backup, and now he's in trouble. Gojira blinks forward, gets the stun. Argus is going to pop the ult. That is only the first life. They have to set up onto him again, and there is a BKB from the Lina, and now there's going to be help coming in. Illich rejoining the fight. Excel buying back as well, throwing out the Ice Path. They're going to try and focus down Sacred first. They do manage to get him. Can they get any more? The pings are coming out. They see Gojira alone. Maybe just with the Dragon Slit? Whoa. Maybe it would have been enough, but not if he doesn't hit it. And Gojira has his blink. He could just look to get himself into a tree line and TP away.
He's just juking. He's
Okay.
just driving. I would be so surprised if he just finds the time to farm mid, but it would be real funny if he dies at the end of the day. And yeah, as soon as the Lina does get wind of him again, decides to TP away, but still very funny. And now, don't lose track of it. Dark Mago's top, and he's getting set up on, and well, has his BKB on the courier, but not on his body, and that's as simple a grab as they can get.
Yep. Just creating a distraction mid, finding some kills on the second half of the fight, and then catching out a Doom who was, well, a little bit far forward. Of course, you know, we say that with the benefit ET of seeing the entirety of the map, but still, solo farming the top lane when you don't know where really half the opposing lineup is a little bit too risky.
Also, I've apparently just gotten word that's not Argus. That's K1 on Argus's account.
What?
Dun dun, it's actually K1 Hector, Hectorus, in the least likely of places, but you know, I believe it. He's got some pretty darn freaking good numbers. Sure, yeah. I you know, Argus. Maybe we should have said it was Argus from the, you know, just to give it, but the whistle's been blown. That's actually K1. Sure.
Okay.
I believe every second of it. You know, no shade on Argus. Argus would also be just as farmed, but you know. Okay. The trials and tribulations.
If K1 pulls this out and they get the win, it's gonna go Argus's way in terms of the stat sheet, so you can at least be happy about that. But there's got to be a weird story behind that one. We'll see if maybe we can get it. But all right, you know, we got word from the Word of God themselves. Probably still going to call him Argus at least 4 more times as they do make the jump in. Dark Mago in trouble. Illich pushes forward, drops the silence onto the Earthshaker so that there's no echo here, and there we go. They have enough damage to finish the job. Dark Mago gets taken down. Michael's a little bit low here on the edge, and that is not a great supernova. It's too far back to really have much of an effect, but it does allow his teammates to push their way forward. They get onto Knight, they take him down, but they need more. They're trying to find Illich as well. The silence, though, does come through, and Alone is starting to get himself up here, dishing out the damage. Has to shift his focus over to Stinger, though, because K1 did make his way into the tree line, but could be able to take... No, he's not. The dust actually allows him to dodge the last projectile, so Stinger will TP home. The problem is that leaves the Troll Warlord all by himself, and they are going to collapse onto him. But they're not going to kill him just yet. He pops the ult instead, takes down Michael first. There's going to be the silence. Will it be enough, though? Alone is still getting beat. The root comes in. And the Troll Warlord wins the fight. Now all of a sudden, Illich says, I got to get the hell out of here. But how? His TP's not up for 4 more seconds. He's just got to try and make it on foot. Looks like he will be able to walk away, and ET, Beast Coast looked like for a moment there they had completely lost that fight, but They managed to catch their second wind and they turn it around.
No, just easy, easy, easy. And I think just losing sight of Argus for a second there, and slight miscalculation from Michael, because if he gets the punch and he has enough mana for that follow-up stun, then I think K1 goes down in one successive hit. But because they dropped the ball, well, kills two heroes, almost kills the NP as well, but Illich just is able to walk out, mainly because Dark Mega is still working on his Blink Dagger. But once he has that, then he's happy. And you look at the gold swing off of just that team fight alone, and even though there were expensive trades for Beast Coast as well, well, they're simply better at making money. And even though the map kind of simmers down for a second here, again, the longer cooldowns are there. Supernova is about to be back up. You have Echo Slam. You're going to have Doom in 30 seconds. They cannot be allowed to wait for these timers. It's where Thunder Awaken need to look for that next easy play, and as soon as they scout it out, that play will be at the pit, but they need to scout it out, and they also need to instigate it. They need to force Beast Coast to fight them.
Well, one way to potentially force a fight is through Roshan, because Rosh is back up. Both the Aegis and the Aghanim Shard at the ready for whoever can get in there, and we'll see who makes the jump. Thunder Awaken right now are actually... well, they're actually looking more for a pickoff than a Rosh attempt. Two supports smoke up. They've got the infested Lifestealer inside of Michael. They're going to go looking. The problem is nobody's even on this side of the map. The closest heroes are hanging out mid, so yeah, they decide, no, let's not go all the way over there. Let's just take Rosh instead, and this is going to go pretty quickly. They are just burning their way through it. Beast Coast, not even really sure that they suspect this is going down. They focus on the tier 1 tower mid instead, and while they will get it, now they make the push over, but now is too late.
When they're on the low ground, they're looking.
The Doom is going to be applied. They did get the Lifestealer here, so he has to stay out of the fight for a bit as Sacred. Well, the Ice Shards kind of mess with his pathing a little bit on the Rolling Thunder, but he is still trying to get onto Illich, connecting with the hits. The Root comes in on the first hit from K1. Now the Supernova is going to prevent anyone from coming over to assist, and they're going to look for a little bit more. Excel, hit up by the Fissure, not able to get over that block. And they will take him down as well, so... well... honestly, that's not too bad, considering they had kind of allowed the Rosh attempt to happen beforehand. You get two relatively big kills, including the core kill onto Illich, so they're going to be relatively happy with that. And honestly, if this Troll Warlord keeps getting luck like this is 2 or 3 times now he's gotten the Root on his first hit, and ET, now it's not just the Root to worry about, because he actually has a Basher, so lots of ways for him to maybe get in onto heroes even through the... what the... are you serious? They genuinely can't see him. That's insane.
They don't see each other, because who's going for who? That's not your Aegis carrier this time around. Alone whiffed on that one, and they do see him walk out of the trees. So now the sirens are going off in Alone's head. He says, okay, maybe I shouldn't be here, and he will make his escape. But
Yep.
that is the craziest vision line I think I've seen in a long time. That was... you could smell them. That was how close they were. Kind of crazy stuff there. But no, now we're back into that waiting game. East Coast are just going to look again for their CDs, and they're going to get their CDs. It's where Thunder Awaken's still struggling to make that successive play after a team fight breaks, and, well, they're going to go for a smoke, try to abuse the lack of that egg, and, well, they did get him, and now Sacred does have the roll-up, though.
Just gonna get himself out of here as fast as he can, so it's just the loss of Stinger. Sacrifice that Beast Coast are going to be willing to make for now to buy themselves that extra time. So, all good for them at the moment. They're buying a little bit more time for the Troll to finish off this Abyssal Blade. Once he's got that, I mean, he can really go toe-to-toe with just about anybody. So, he's closing in on it. The question is, what can they find in the meantime? Because Excel, he got a little bit far forward there, just trying to clear out the creep wave. Throwing the Macropyre out as well, just to make sure that the creep wave does die, but not able to cross the river to go get him.
No, and now, well, back again into the situation where Thunder Awaken struggle to find their next objective. East Coast continue to farm. Haven't seen Dark Mega use his Doom in quite a bit. He's just pleased with how the way his game is going. And really, I couldn't argue. He's just farming up on Doom. He's going to start eclipsing everybody net worth-wise. Can't catch Hector at all, because Hector is still having a blisteringly fast troll game. He's level 23 right now. He's just not skipped a beat. It's where I want him to get a Blink Dagger, probably after this full Bissell, just so that way he can initiate and start his own fights, but then you're pretty much just gonna die. There aren't that many defensive tools on Thunder Awaken. It's where it's really up to Michael to just sit somebody in a snowball, and then maybe that's your way to kite the troll.
Michael is now here. He's got the Lifestealer infested in him, but they don't have much backup other than that. Not going to make the jump in at this point, so BTS just continue to farm. Michael's looking at it now, but there's so many heroes here. You're just not going to get that clean fight that you want. Now here come the reinforcements. Excel is in. Alone is here. They're looking at the... Oh, they're looking at the troll. They do get him with that walrus punch, but they need more damage. The snowball is going to get reflected by the Lotus, though, so they're not able to jump onto him. Instead, they're going to shift their focus over, but Gojira blinks in, able to get the stun. Locking down Alone. Alone in trouble. No BKB coming out. They'll finish him off. They get Michael as well. And this is looking really rough. They're going to lose a third as Excel is just burned to death. Can they get Knight? Yes, they can. First hit bash into the fissure. And there's going to be a root as well. Jesus, the RNG out here for K1 is just exceptional as they do get through the Aegis. Now they need to get him a second time. They're going to hit him with the Infernal Blade. No rage up for 7 seconds. I passed trying to do some work, but it won't be enough. Smiling Knight goes down. Excel now in trouble. Just bought back. Dies a second time. And well, really, the only downside of this play, ET, is the fact that there's still tier 2s standing. Otherwise, they would have been able to clean up a hell of a lot more in terms of objectives.
Yeah, and well, backdoor is gone. They're gonna move in, but it's where having that Aegis not on the Lina just means that as soon as she shows, then Alone is the target and they hit, and you're just not really able to do much once that Doom actually lands. It's where you don't have that much defense versus that Doom ever, as long as Dark Mago can find those jumps. And yeah, this is just gonna be a free Rax. Tier 2 still stands, so they won't be able to go for that next play, but what a position to be in. And of course, no Aegis to play with. Aegis would have just expired a few moments ago, but they have all of this map control now just thrust into their hands once those tier 2s are gone as well. Don't see a reason why Beast Coast should back off. Not to mention, well, all of their abilities are coming up in less than a minute. It's where killing your opponents and then having their timers wait out the CDs already, it's just those successive plays that end up making your lineup feel so much easier to play. And Alone, I don't know what he needs. Does he need a Lincoln Sphere? Does he need a Satanic just so he can survive? It really cannot be a situation where Aegis can ever find his way onto him. If Hector closes the distance, the game is pretty much over for either of the Thunder Awaken cores. We need more kiting tools.
Alone's going to miss on the LSA there. That could have been an opportunity for just a quick and easy one on to Stinger, but not able to connect. And yeah, I think a large part of why Alone goes down so quickly in the last fight is that he never got his BKB off. He died with it still available, so maybe that's your thought process here. If he can get that off preemptively, then he is going to last a little bit longer. As, hold on, this time the LSA will connect. They take Stinger down, but Aegis is going to get in. There's that Abyssal Blade stun. Alone, though, using the Ogre Seal Totem, able to force his way out. They are trying to retreat for the time being, looking for their moment. Sacred, though, using that roll up into the Rolling Thunder. Illich, though, still not dead yet, but Aegis is going to pop the ult, and there it is. Illich gets taken down. Excel will fall as well. Sacred, meanwhile, just continuing to get onto Alone. Alone, at this point, has no BKB and no mana. He sticks around way too long. And now they're going to lose pretty much everything. Michael picked off easily. Doom now applied onto the Lifestealer, so he is just having to walk back to base, and he will not make it.
Yeah, and with that, I think unfortunately, Thunder Awaken's position in this game is pretty much lost. You're going to lose another Rax down bottom. Don't think there's really any way for them to defend. There's no buybacks. This is just going to be another objective. I think really the only reason they're not calling it at this point is they think maybe there's a chance for them to burst out Hector come some random team fight in the next few minutes, but at least they're not megas. At least going for that tier 2 is going to slow up Beast Coast enough that that's not going to be on the table. If there wasn't a tier 2 mid though, I can only imagine that this would be just a GG call, because there really is very little for Thunder Awaken to play for at this point. They just have to hope for the chain stun to result in a troll death. Otherwise, there's not that much game left here.
Defensive macro pyre, deployed, trying to clear out the creep wave. Wrath of Nature flies through as well, so they will hold on to that final lane of Rax, but It is rough, and the Roche timer, 45 seconds away here, so Beast Coast really have all the dominoes kind of falling. They can just keep their opponents locked in the base, get the Aegis one... Actually, I was going to say one more time. Both of the Aegises previously have been Thunder Awaken, so this would be the first of the game for Beast Coast. As Michael, that's a very far jump. They're just trying to force anything they can, and they do take down Gojira as well as Dark Mago. It's a strong start, but they need more. Smiling Knight's been taken down, and this is where the cohesion's going to fall apart. Knight and Excel both dead. Alone, trying to hold on to his BKB for as long as he can as he gets into the tree line, and Michael reinitiates. They get the Walrus Punch down, but it's onto a troll who they really can't kill, so Alone just has to try and run away, but they've got this continuous vision on him. Now he's stuck. He's looking for a TP home. Will he get lucky? Well, Alone certainly does get lucky. Gets away, no bashes, no roots, no nothing, so he's able to make his way back home, but at the end of all of that, well, they take down Dark Mago. That's a big one. I think there was a support kill in there as well, but is that enough?
Yeah, and now you're going to have to buy back most likely here on the Tuscan. You have to hit this timing before Battle Trance and the BKB is up for Pector. Otherwise, well, you're playing for Megas now. And okay, it looks like that's going to be the call. Thunderwake can wait for their full 5-man before the team fight breaks out, but they get away with it. And now, well, Roche is alive. That's where we can go next. There's 2 wards to stop Thunderwaken from closing the gap on that. There's no reason for Beast Coast not to take the safest 3rd Roche in the game and then just walk it down with the smoke as soon as they get their next opportunity. K1 just finished off a Blink Dagger as well, so anybody will die. He can start his fight whenever he wants. You have to sit in the fountain if you don't want to die, basically, at this point.
And here they go. Into the pit. Aegis Cheese and a Refresher Shard up for grabs, and, well, Thunder Awaken are pushing out of their base, but they're pushing in the wrong direction. They go south instead of north, so this is Roshan for absolutely free. Okay, Michael.
3.
Cool. 3. I feel it. I agree. Definitely. It's definitely a 3 kind of moment.
Yeah, and look at all Thunder Awaken. At least they're trying to catch their opponents in a mistake. They're all bottom, just hoping that somebody is going to show up here, but as soon as the creeps come in, you are not a great Megas team. Everybody's going to have to TP back now. All 5 TPs need to be committed, and by the time you're back, Tier 4 is dead.
One more hit. There we go. First Tier 4 gets taken down. Knight feels like he has to do something, pushing his way in. They do manage to get a little bit of a lockdown onto the Troll Warlord, but they need now damage to finish him off, and that's just not happening. Michael's going to get taken down. Buyback is available, but while he is deciding whether he wants to buy back, they've lost the rest of the lineup. The fight's over. GG called. Beast Coast. First matches with this new lineup. They look pretty damn good as they take the open.
Boy, man, oh man. Hector just farmed us a new one, I feel like, in this game. He has got some crazy numbers on this Troll Warlord, but also the rest of the lineup, you know, you had that messy early start for Dark Mega where every hero's just joining his lane, and of course, that resulted in Gojira weaving bottom and Sacred's in a 1v1 that he is losing, but as soon as Knight leaves, well, Sacred's got solo XP. He's been getting solo XP the entire lane. The Shaker left early, so you get that roll, and maybe you don't make a play immediately, but that's where Thunder Awaken very consciously decided to draw out the laning stage as well. It's where they finished off the Armlet, they finished off the Boots of Travel, they got the Orchid, and they were winning in that moment, but then you also gave Beast Coast a Blink Dagger. You gave Sacred a Blink Dagger. You gave Dark Mago a BKB. And then, at the end of the day, Beast Coast just made more of the map when we decided that we were both going to farm. And then Thunder Awaken, they have to look for that second item. They need BKB on Lina. They need a tanky item for the Lifestealer. They need their own forms of initiation. And then the draft just starts to fall apart. Because at the end of the day, Beast Coast was always going to have better teamfight than you. They have better teamfight heroes straight up. Their draft dictates it. It's where Thunder Awaken, I think, in their own draft just got a little bit too comfortable. And hell, they got a 13-minute Roche. They were ready to set the pace for this game and maybe a more push-oriented lineup. But then they lose 1 or 2 team fights playing into Beast Coast. And then the roles just completely swap.
And you just never apply even the slightest bit of pressure to this Troll Warlord. As you said, his numbers are just unreal. 0 deaths, 440 last hits, a 947 GPM on Troll, and still dished out 30,000 damage. So no loss of efficiency, no pressure whatsoever, no mistakes from Argius slash K1, whichever one it actually was. The fact remains the performance was flawless, and Beast Coast get a very nice win here to open up the series.
Yeah, now coming into game two, I don't know. What do you change the most in that situation? Because Thunder Awaken got what they wanted for a while, and then suddenly it all dispelled. And I think that's where maybe you look at Illich's NP and say that we didn't feel the effect of that Nature's as much, and they certainly didn't play as tight of a game as TSM did in their series. But again, can't hate. We'll have to see. Game two will always hold something different.
We're going to be getting into game two in just a couple of minutes here. So we'll see if Beast Coast can follow in TSM's footsteps and get that 2-0 sweep, or if Thunder Awaken are going to push us to a full 3 games. So stick around. We'll be back with the start of the game two draft in just a few minutes.